Hey everyone, we're back with another Magic School tool tip, and this time we're going to be talking about one that is pretty much brand new, just showed up in the last week or two here. And so if you haven't been into Magic School in the last few weeks, I do recommend you come take a look again. But the one I want to show you today is this one right up here. So when you go to Magic Tools, you'll see it right at the top corner, and it says Create a Custom Tool. So what this is going to let you do, and I'm going to walk through the process in a second, but I'm going to first talk about why you might want to do this. When it says create a custom tool, it doesn't mean you're creating an AI tool from scratch, like something brand new. Instead, what it's going to let you do is take one of these existing tools and customize it. And you might be thinking, if you watched my video or you've already done rolled this out for your students in classrooms, it's similar to that. But the idea here is, if there's one of these tools that you find yourself using repeatedly, and there's certain things that you do every time in it, like for instance, if your lesson plans, you always need your lesson plans to have these elements, to always, put objectives need to be phrased this way, or you are always going to want, a certain type of student activities or certain pieces of differentiation. You can customize this tool so that you don't have to put those instructions in every time. Okay, so it's probably a whole lot easier to actually see it and then be able to kind of wrap your head around what I'm talking about here. So I'm actually going to give you an example here using a quiz. So I'm going to create a custom tool, and then it asks me, okay, which tool do you want to customize? So again, for the sake of just making this quick, I'm going to show you the multiple choice assessment. And let's say that I give quick 10 question quizzes on a regular basis. Help prepare my students for that multiple choice section of the Regents exam in U.S. history, let's say. So I'm going to call this tool the 10 question U.S. history quiz. Change this to 11th grade. Change the number of questions to 10. Okay, over here again, you'll see it showing me a preview of the tool. I'm going to leave this for the moment, and I'm going to come to next, because here's the really important part. So these are the custom instructions. These are the things that are going to be there every time that I go ahead and use this customized tool. So I might say that I want to align the questions to the New York State Social Studies framework for grade 11, and I might say use the types of questions that are seen on the New York State U.S. History and Government Regents exam. I'm being a little fastidious here. I probably don't need to do all this capitalization and stuff. The AI doesn't care, but I'm old and tend to still do that. So, and then lastly, I might want to say something like this: incorporate one question that uses a primary source or a map. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and click next, and it's going to let me test this out. So now I'm back to where it's telling me what's the topic. Again, I don't need to put in standards or things like that, because I already did that in my custom instructions. So I'm just going to give it the topic now, and this is just kind of quick off the top of my head. So I would probably want to refine this a little more, but I might say something like causes of the U.S. Civil War. Okay, click generate. So here it is, writing out my questions. And you'll notice, remember, one of my instructions was to use at least one question with a primary source or a map. So it's not doing it exactly the same way the Regents does, where you actually have like, where you have a picture of the map or the document, but that's what it's doing here, where it's having them read an excerpt of something. And again, as always, if we wanted to edit this before we use it, we can do that. We can export this into a Google Doc, something like that. But again, there you have it. So if I click Save, now when I come down here, you'll notice, and it's going to group all my custom tools together. So now I have this 10 question U.S. history quiz custom tool. So every time, like if I'm going to, every week, every 2 weeks, I give them one of these quizzes, instead of having to specify those things that, I want New York State Social Studies Framework, I want it like the Regents exam, I want a primary source or a map or something like that. I don't have to type those in every single time. I can just come here, click on this custom tool, then I just have to tell it the topic, and it's going to go ahead and spit it out for me. Okay, so again, kind of much quicker. The other thing, though, that's kind of cool is if I click on this, and you come up here and you click on Actions, one of the things that you can do is share the custom tool. And so what I can do is I can change this to like org only if I wanted to, and I can copy the link. And now what I could do is, if there's somebody else teaching U.S. history who wants to do the same thing, I could email them that link, and they'll be able to make a copy of this custom tool themselves and use it or modify it. So, it's a good way to trade these things back and forth, so you don't personally have to create all of them. You can kind of divide that work up amongst yourselves. All right. So I hope you found that useful, and that's something that you might use down the road.